Hello and welcome to Power to the People with me, Graeme Pryce. I've struggled to write my notes for this video all day. It's hard to know where to start really, isn't it? As I've been sitting writing, I've been watching the scenes unfolding in Middlesbrough and Rotherham. And I honestly can't imagine how ordinary people feel about what has taken place right outside their homes. My heart goes out to them, it really does. My old mum, who's sadly not with us anymore, used to say something to me when I was having a bad time. And it's something I tend to say to my friends and remaining family when they're going through bad stuff now. It's that you can never predict what the future will be. And if you try to say exactly what you will be doing in your life in 6 months' time, you will definitely get it wrong. Well, if I told you in February that by August there would have been a general election, a Labour landslide, and Nigel Farage elected and then inciting UK-wide riots within a month of taking office, you'd have looked at me like I was a dirty thumbprint on the cheese and told me to stop being ridiculous, wouldn't you? Well, that's what's happened. See, the one thing my late mother never said was that things would definitely be better in 6 months, just that they'd definitely be different. She was a bit more of a pragmatist and less of an optimist than I am. I've been watching the footage on various sources all day and spending some time looking through social media, Twitter in particular, and while I'm a little bit reticent to make something about it now because I think there's more going to unfold tonight, I don't want to leave it too much longer before I at least share a few thoughts with you. Let's just get this formality out the way and then I'll show you and tell you a little bit of what I've found. I was just looking at my channel analytics and I noticed that 53% of people who watch my videos weren't subscribed. The pain. Come on, just have a quick check that you've subbed, liked and rang the bell. Make a skinny old scouser a little bit happier today. I've called this video Not Far Right because I'm a little bit sick of hearing people claim that it isn't a moniker that these people deserve. But before we get into that, don't we just have a little look at a couple of these so-called patriots who just want our country back and have a look at their antics. This patriotic and intelligent chap went out to join the protest and remembered to take his most patriotic t-shirt. I'm wondering if he thinks that the UK is some sort of micro-nation these days though. Pretty sure our country doesn't fit in that box. I'm sure St George would totally understand that the best way to save England is to smash up a phone shop and steal shit though, obviously. Not sure what's going on with this guy either. He was so desperate to get out and take his country back that he forgot to get dressed apparently. Maybe he missed his breakfast too as he's risking his liberty for a tray of Greggs sausage rolls. I can't say that I disrespect his taste in bakery products. I love a Greggs sausage roll as much as the next man. But I tend to pay for mine and buy them one at a time. Except when I get those cook-at-home ones from Iceland, I seriously recommend those. Compared to most of the fat, roving, tattooed monsters in the streets, this guy isn't actually that much of an offence to the eye. I'd imagine that's going to work against him when the bobbies turn up on his doorstep and he ends up in prison though. They'll be getting plenty of sausage then and it won't be wrapped in delicious puff pastry. Let's try to stop pretending these people are patriots, eh? They're not protesting or trying to take our country back. They're trying to take a few grand's worth of phones out of a smashed in shop or make off with a tray of sausage rolls. Smart lads there. Let's just have a little look at some of the things that these protesters, who definitely aren't far right, are saying on social media. There's a lot more than what I've used in this video. It's really easy to find, especially if you look at Reform UK accounts, Farage's Twitter feed, or pretty much any post by the Tories or about the riots. This guy thinks it's beautiful to see what's happening in our country at the moment. I'm not quite sure how he came to that conclusion. He seems to have a pretty warped view of beauty, but it's definitely not far right though. This was a response to a perfectly reasonable post that wasn't even actually about the riots. It just happened to be from a person who had their face in their profile picture, their brown face. Not far right though. Still, at least charming, portly, pissed up patriots like this are out there defending our British values. He looks very concerned about the integrity of social cohesion in the UK, doesn't he? He's backed up by this charming, patriotic chap who just oozes intellectual ability, and of course, this guy wouldn't describe himself as far right either. Though, that is probably because he never learned the difference between left and right. These guys are fucking idiots. They're probably too stupid to understand that what they're doing is even far right. Gets worse though. I'm further right. Do you know what Godwins Law is? I have mentioned it before. Put simply, it says that any conversation or debate online, or anywhere else really, will eventually get to a point where somebody mentions the Nazis if it goes on for long enough. I know a lot about the Nazis. I recognise some of what I'm seeing in the last few days. I wonder how much these guys know about the Nazis. I wouldn't imagine it's very much, considering one of them doesn't even know which arm you're supposed to use when you're doing a Nazi salute. Himmler would have had him shot for that. Somebody else made a comment about the unrest, and this was the response. Does that look like the response of somebody who isn't far right to you? Somebody a little bit further down in the depths of the bottom half of the internet posted this. I'm not even sure I have the words for seeing this in 2024. It's more like something from 1944, isn't it? You can judge that one for yourself. But we need to be mindful of the fact that according to people like Nigel Farage and Katie Hopkins and Richard Tice and Isabel Oakeshott, these people aren't far right and they have legitimate concerns. Yeah, that's a swastika tattooed on his shoulder. He's not far right though, no. Of course, sometimes you can find a silver lining in even the darkest of clouds, and while Nigel Farage and Richard Tice are deliberately trying to fan the flames, there are a few places where the public just simply aren't having it, but there's plenty where they are. I mean, Mr. Nigel Farage, is obviously blameless, according to these lot. The fact that they have the intellect of a pound of minced beef allows them to completely ignore the fact that when Nigel Farage posted a video on Twitter saying, "People are just asking questions," he could have gone to Parliament and asked his questions to the actual Home Secretary who'd had the decency to go there to answer them, rather than send a junior minister like the fucking Tories would have done. Of course, people who have brains that would perfectly fit in a matchbox don't realise that Farage knew full well that the only reason the police hadn't released the name of the Southport attacker was because he was under 18. So they lapped it up like retarded kittens at a bowl of racist cream when he subtly suggested that they were actually not releasing the name of the perpetrator because he's an Islamic monster. Mr. fucking Frogage knew exactly what he was doing. The name of the guy was released shortly afterwards, revealing that he isn't a Muslim. He isn't an asylum seeker. He's not even Asian. He's black, and he never came here in a boat. He was born here, in Wales. He's Welsh. Farage has riled up thousands of far-right protesters to roam the streets, attacking Muslims and chucking bricks at mosques because a guy who isn't a Muslim and has never set foot in a mosque committed a terrible crime. That makes loads of fucking sense, that, Farage, you absolute twat. Thank you for watching if you've gotten this far. I wanted to make this one a bit shorter than usual because I expect I'll end up making another one in a few days if things don't calm down. It's only Sunday afternoon now. I haven't used all the worst things I've picked from the far-right pages of the idiots at the helm of this either, and I shudder to think what I might see next. Fed up looking at it, to be honest. There are highlights though. Look at this lady in Liverpool. She's not fucking having it, and I wish I could have gone there to walk alongside her. She's being called Socialist Nan. She's doing the rounds a bit. She's up against the likes of this absolute knob who seems to think he's in some sort of war and is trying to rally the troops with his sweary post on Twitter. I'm not judging him for swearing. I am judging him for being a stupid twat with less brains than a roll mop herring though. And here's one that genuinely made me laugh to end on. Remember the sausage roll guy earlier? Wondered if he realised he was about to become the figure of sheer ridicule when he decided the best way to combat Islam was to steal a tray of sausage rolls. I somehow doubt it. Anyway, there's loads more to say, and as usual, I haven't said half of what I wanted to say, but I've said as much as I'm going to say today. Ta-ra. Can I help you? Is there a reason that you've come and put your little hot body next to me? I think it's a little bit too hot for me, busy be sitting with a little smelly hot dog on me. Yeah.